There was a light breeze in Graville as Dana Carter stepped out of the cafe, heading toward her car. The street was quiet, but suddenly, two police officers appeared and blocked her path. "We've received reports of suspicious activity," they said. "We need to search you." Dana raised an eyebrow, confused. Leaving a peaceful cafe seemed far from suspicious. She firmly questioned the officers, but they sharply asked, "Are you refusing a search?" Dana was unsure of what to do. When they finally ordered her to turn around, she felt she had no choice but to comply. Cold handcuffs snapped onto her wrists as the officers began their search. During the process, she felt humiliated and misunderstood. Passers-by hurried past, avoiding eye contact, clearly unwilling to intervene. Dana took a deep breath and decided there was only one person who could help her right now: her husband, Ethan Carter. She pulled out her phone and called him. When Ethan heard about the situation, his voice was filled with unwavering determination. He assured her he would arrive immediately. As Dana waited, she couldn't help but reflect on the unfairness of the situation. She had done nothing wrong, yet here she was, being treated as if she were a criminal. The humiliation was palpable, but she held her composure, knowing help was on the way. Soon, the sound of a black SUV echoed through the street. Ethan Carter stepped out, his imposing presence and fiery gaze drawing everyone's attention. The police officers tensed as they realized he was the commissioner. "Step aside," he commanded. His voice carried an authority that left no room for argument. Officers Blake and Thomas stammered weak excuses about following protocol, but Ethan's response was sharp. "Your protocol is broken." His words hung heavily in the air, a clear indictment of their actions. Without hesitation, he took out his phone and called Internal Affairs, demanding an investigation into the officer's conduct. As Dana stood beside her husband, her eyes reflected the deep discomfort from what had happened. But Ethan's presence gave her a sense of security. Internal Affairs arrived swiftly, their presence adding gravity to the situation. Blake and Thomas were questioned on the spot, their confident demeanor replaced by visible unease. Dana couldn't help but notice the growing crowd of onlookers, their faces a mixture of curiosity and quiet outrage. For once, the usually bustling street had fallen silent, save for the murmurs of people discussing what was unfolding before them. "Are you okay?" Ethan asked, his tone softer now as he turned to Dana. There was a mix of anger and compassion in his voice. Dana nodded, though the weight of the experience lingered. The thought that such an incident could happen simply because of her appearance was deeply troubling. She sighed, grateful for Ethan's swift action, but aware that this was far from an isolated incident. As Internal Affairs led the officers away, Dana looked at Ethan. "Thank you for coming," she said quietly. "I didn't know what else to do." Ethan placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You did the right thing," he replied. "This shouldn't have happened, and it won't go unanswered." The people of Graville watched the scene unfold in silence. This incident served as a reminder that justice was not just a word, and that no one, not even the police, was above the law. That day, Graville witnessed the true meaning of justice in plain sight. But for Dana, the memory of the event would linger, a painful reminder of the challenges she faced simply for being who she was. And yet, in that moment, she knew she wasn't alone. With Ethan by her side, she felt a renewed sense of hope. Hope that change, however slow, was still possible.